Everything that's damned them all year, all at once, to be totally honest. I like the offense herky-jerky. Mahomes had to lead them in rushing. They're 0-4 in those games, by the way, where he leads them in rushing. Patrick, I think, felt that he had to activate hero mode maybe earlier than he needed to. That 3rd and 6 that we almost missed because we were in commercial, and then they go to the snap. It was a very emotionally wrecking 8 seconds, and NBC does a great job, but that was not great, where it's like we're in commercial, big play coming up, but they got back late, and the snap was off, and then there was a pick, and I didn't even know what happened. Missed bad special teams, which had been the opposite, had been a trademark of this Chiefs run. That Butker field goal changes everything.
It does.
They certainly don't then go for what was. Listen, Andy Reid's one of the greatest coaches ever, has an argument that he's the 2nd greatest coach in the history of the sport. His biggest game management criticism has been being too conservative in the past. That was a wildly reckless 4th down decision. That certainly if they're up 13-10, they don't go for. But at 10, that is a play you go for if it's 28-28 against the Bills. In a, up and down. That play would have made sense in the Cincinnati-Buffalo game earlier that day, where it's like, man, nobody's stopping anybody.
Right.
And so that happened. I mean, this is how you get to 6 and 7. And I don't even know if I mentioned it. They now have retaken their place atop the league after a 1-year absence in drops. And it felt like they were all heartbreaking. Kelsey's ended the game with a pick. Kareem Hunt's, I think cost us a touchdown on the 3rd down. 2 4th down drops, 1 really bad one. And so that's like, none of it. Trust me, America, I'm devastated. But I also am honest. None of it should have been shocking, because they have made mistakes like this all year. And the same thing, Brew, that made me and still makes me feel like last year's team, Super Bowl notwithstanding, that was a great football team. That was a great team, because the only thing that matters for a team is winning.
Yeah.
And they understood how to win and how not to lose. This team, through 13 games, creates a different set of circumstances that allow losses to happen, and then they allow them to happen. That's what happened yesterday, and that's what's happened this season.
First off, the Kansas City Chiefs and the drops, that is so insane and so ridiculous, okay? Trevor Lawrence, 33 drops. Bo Nix, 32 drops. Dak Prescott, 24. Joe Flacco, 22. Patrick Mahomes, 22. So that is such utter nonsense. Oh, now we're blaming the drops. And Patrick Mahomes throws a million passes because he throws a lot of those short passes as well. Okay, so look at the drop percentage. The percentage of drops is probably actually technically a more accurate ranking in terms of what percentage of catches are being dropped now. J.J. McCarthy through the roof, 12.8. Trevor Lawrence, 11.5. Jaden Daniels, 10.9. Bo Nix, 9.7. Patrick Mahomes is 6.9. Okay, he's 14th. He's below Caleb Williams, below Joe Burrow. So again, what this means is that Joe Burrow's receivers are dropping a higher percentage of balls than Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that's what that means. 7.9, 6.9. So that is just such insanity. And you guys know, because I pointed this out a million times in 2023. This whole, the Kansas City Chiefs, they can drop the ball so much. Matthew Stafford, 29 drops. Dak Prescott, 29 drops. Patrick Mahomes, 29 drops. Jared Goff, 29 drops. Josh Allen, 28 drops. And then literally in the playoffs, Josh Allen had the same number of drops this year than Patrick Mahomes did in half the games. Meaning his team was dropping the ball double the rate in the games that mattered most. The playoffs. And then you said, Patrick Mahomes felt like he needed to go into superhero mode a little earlier than he would have thought. This is superhero mode? 14 for 33, 160 yards, 4.8 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a 19.7 QBR, and a 19.8 passer rating. First off, those stats are misleading because those involve a few plays at the very end of the game when it didn't matter. Okay, here's the actual realistic box score. 12 for 30, 131 yards, 4.4 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a 14 passer rating. That was what his box score was right up until the obvious final play when the Texans are like, we're just letting you complete your passes to run out the clock. It just shows you how much stats can change. Based on how, because this was literally gave him 2 extra completions, another 20 yards or so, another 30 yards or so, raised his yards per attempt, raised his passer rating. Like, it just shows you how easy it is. And that's what happened in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, other teams face the Texans that don't have this elite O-line, by the way. I mean, look what Mac Jones did. He was 19 for 32, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an 84.5 passer rating. Was able to score 15, had a QBR of 77.2. In the run game, he got 8 carries for 25 yards from Christian McCaffrey. He had to have 2 carries for 23. I mean, Sam Darnold, Mr. Pumpkin himself, 17 for 31, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 73.7 passer rating, 43.6. Bo Nix, the 8th best quarterback on the Denver Broncos, 18 for 37, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR 57.9, 68.9 passer rating. He had 3 carries for 36 yards. Scored 18 points. Better than what Patrick Mahomes did. Josh Allen, the game that all the Kansas City Chiefs fans and Mahomes fans made fun of. 24 for 34, 253 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 8 sacks, 27.8 QBR, better than that of Patrick Mahomes, and a 67.4 passer rating. And had 5 carries for 20 yards himself. And just so we're clear, Josh Allen was pressured 20 times. Patrick Mahomes was pressured 21 times. So, just so we're clear, Josh Allen only had 2.75 seconds time to throw. 2.75 seconds. Patrick Mahomes actually had way more time. 3.31. And as we know, we watched both those games. That 3.31, like I always talk about with mobile quarterbacks, when they're scrambling a lot, like it adds time to throw. So it's a little bit not the most accurate stat for, really not the most accurate stat for just modern NFL play because of how much scrambling is involved. This 3.31 was not because Patrick Mahomes was running around in circles and doing, this wasn't like a Lamar Jackson type game where he's like really scrambling and buying a ton of time like that. I'm not pretending like he had 3.31 seconds of just sitting in the pocket and doing nothing either, but like, he was not calling hike and then was just immediately like done. Josh Allen was literally calling hike and the was literally on him it was just boom, just like that. That's just the reality of the situation, whether people want to reject that clearly truth claim or not. But I mean, like that's hilarious to bring up drops and stuff like that. I don't remember you bringing that up in the Chargers versus the Chiefs over these years. I don't remember you allowing that to be an acceptable conclusion for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Buffalo Bills, or when Josh Allen throws that ball in 24 that then gets dropped at the end of the game, make up the nonsense that I think Patrick Mahomes, if he was in that situation, he would have found a better play to make. That hasn't been true. What about when Diggs dropped a ball that was literally hit his hands, a drop in the bucket, multiple drop passes in that divisional round in 2023. What about special teams? What about the missed field goal for the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs? All I do is remember is everyone just kept saying Josh Allen is not good enough. Patrick Mahomes outplays Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes has outplayed Josh Allen every single time in the playoffs. Now you want to talk about drops? Now you want to talk about O-line play? Now you want to talk about coaching decisions? because Sean McDermott and Harbaugh notoriously make the best coaching decisions throughout the course of their careers? Really? That's the game you want to play right now? Now is the time for some nuance. What about the reckless nature of Patrick Mahomes? I mean, 2 of those interceptions were 1,000% on Patrick Mahomes. Great, the one with that kind of got tipped up. Great defensive play, undeniable. But like, he forced that ball on tight, sticky coverage against an elite Texans defense. Like, he should know better. He's Patrick Mahomes. And the other one that was a punt. I'm so sick of hearing that. Patrick Mahomes thought he could make that throw, and he wasn't even close. That was not just, oh, well, that just is, what are you going to do? We're just going to let it rip, and if it gets intercepted, no way. That wasn't a 50-50 ball. That was like a 100% ball. And that's why he ripped his helmet off his head and was upset. So that was no kind of like, what are you going to do type of moments. This is just as good of a punt. Like, he thought he could make a throw that was not even close. And then even the Kelce throw, there's a real argument that you could put that on Patrick Mahomes as well, man. Patrick Mahomes falling, or Travis Kelce's, all of his body is going this way and the ball is that way. It was fluky that it still goes up in the air and stuff like that. It wasn't an accurate throw. He was inaccurate that game. There was definitely drops, undeniably. The defense held the Texans to 20 points. CJ Stroud dealt with drops. He dealt with O-line issues. He's got like a bottom of the NFL O-line. He made better throws on the run. CJ Stroud made better plays, better throws. He just did. And even some of these drop passes that are being attributed to the receivers, like, I don't know. They weren't the most accurate of throws. Like that one 4th down call, people are going to say, oh, he just dropped it. It's like, wasn't that accurate of a throw? They're like, well, he was disrupted by the defense. And it's like, yeah, he got hit. He got like brushed up against. You don't think that happens to Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield? Like again, this is like, how much help does the GOAT, the greatest quarterback Nick Wright has ever seen, need? I don't understand. I was told for years that it's Patrick Mahomes that has carried these teams year after year after year. Now I want to hear about Nick Wright himself brought up a stat and said, since 22, this defense has been elite, especially on 3rd downs. That this team has consistently has been top in the NFL of getting the defense off the field and the offense back on. He said that. It was his stat. And he specifically said 22, 23, 24. That kind of shows you how much the defense has helped. No? And now that he doesn't have an elite top of the NFL defense, he can't even make the playoffs? I don't know what to tell you. Trevor Lawrence has more drops, a worse O-line, a worse defense, but his team is winning the division and they're in the playoffs. I'm just saying. Under the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes logic that was applied for years, Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. It's not my logic. I'm just using your logic. You ripped Joe Burrow for the season that he had last year when his defense was the worst we could ever imagine. And his O-line was way worse. Way worse. Like 10+% worse than what Patrick Mahomes is dealing with right now. And Joe Burrow put up numbers that were through the roof, that were actually statistically more impressive than anything else Patrick Mahomes did with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I made videos about it. I compared it. and you ripped Joe Burrow and said he was the problem. He was the problem. He wasn't good enough. And now you want to talk about drops, O-line, Andy Reid, and the defense? What? No. It's not the way it works. You can't make fun of Justin Herbert the entire season for his offensive line and say, look at his numbers. What's wrong? What's going on? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about all these excuses for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.